Hey all. In today's video, I want to talk about 3 of my favorite reverbs from the Line 6 Pod Go, and this video is tough, and it's tough as the one where I did the top 3 overdrive pedals. I'm gonna link that somewhere up here right now. With that being said, I'm honestly not afraid to mention my number 1 reverb in the Pod Go, but before we get into that, I'm gonna show you the signal chain. The first thing that I'm running here is the HANA drive. The second thing in the chain is the Kelly Q Graphic EQ, which I'm not using as an EQ per se, I'm using it as a boost in front of the amp. I like the Line 6 litigator, but in order to get 3 reverbs inside the signal chain that you see here, I had to pick something that has low DSP usage. And because of that, I also had to pick a factory cabinet, because the stock factory cabinet does not use any DSP. Before I play the examples of all 3 reverbs, I'm gonna show you how the dry signal sounds, and if you saw any of my previous videos, you know that this is the sound I hate from the bottom of my heart. So a sound that has absolutely no decay is a sound that you should not play. The number 1 reverb on my list is the room reverb. The reason why I'm going with the room reverb is because when you hear the guitar recording, there's always some room present in it. No matter how good is the acoustic isolation, the sound treatment in the studio, when you crank an amp loud enough, there will always be some reflections. One thing that you should definitely also not forget is that inside the cab section you have the early reflections option, which will help to make the sound, and I absolutely despise the word, more natural. In this case, I think it's the right word to choose, because a sound that has absolutely no decay is a sound that has no sense to me. Now I'm gonna hit the chord and engage the room pedal on my unit right here. Let's see how big this room can actually get. Now I'm gonna make the adjustments the way I would normally use this reverb block. So the decay just above 3, the pre-delay just about 10 milliseconds, the low cut just about 150, and the high cut around 6. And I would of course bring the mix down to a more reasonable amount. So to my ears that are used to hearing a lot of guitar recordings done with various amps, various microphones, in different room sizes, the room reverb is the one that I would honestly like to have built in right in the pod, because in my opinion the room sound will make any guitar sound better. Now on to reverb number 2, and this is the 63 Spring Reverb. my favorite settings for the spring reverb are somewhere around here. The decay just below 5, pre-delay between 10 and 15 milliseconds, low cut around 100 something, and I always bring the high cut up a bit more, which means I'm doing less cutting, because I like to hear the splash of the spring reverb. And this is how my standard spring reverb setting sounds like. And finally, we have reverb number 3, which is the Glitz, and this is the one that I often use when I want to create an ambient sound. So the stock settings sound like this. There are a lot of controls in the Glitz reverb, and it's far more complex than the previous ones. And I simply don't have the time to do a full tutorial on the Glitz reverb now. You have the low cut and the high cut option here, and as with all the other reverbs, I don't want that much high end in here. I'm gonna leave it probably around 8, which is higher than we had in the room and the spring reverb, because I like the splashy top of the Glitz. There is one crucial parameter that will actually determine how bright or how dark this reverb sounds, and that is the crossover point. Currently it's set at 90 Hz and it sounds like this. Now listen to what happens when I crank the crossover up to 8K. So if you're looking for great ambient sounds, I think that Glitz should be your #1 choice. Although the Ganymede and the Searchlights also sound great, so you can't go wrong with either, basically. And before I leave you, and I know this is why you actually came here and not to watch me talk about reverbs, I'm gonna crank the decay on the room up to the max, the mix at 50%, max out the spring reverb, and I'm gonna max out the Glitz reverb. I actually want to check my levels here and make sure that I don't clip into your ears. No, we gotta bring the level down even more. and in this case I'm gonna do it right here. So it looks like that we get around 10 seconds of solid sustaining droning notes and another 10 of them slowly dying and decaying. Anyway, that's it. Those were my top 3 reverbs in the Line 6 Pod Go, although, as I said, I like all of them. I also use the whole reverb, I also use the plate reverb, so this top 3 list is obviously very, very subjective. And just a friendly reminder, at the end, if you visit the description box below, you can find a Google Drive folder with 25 plus free patches for the Line 6 Pod Go. All of the patches are done by me, and I've put a lot of love, passion, and of course time into creating them, and I think you'll probably like most of them. Bye all!